James, JamesBond, Bond, JamesBond, Bond, JamesBond, Bond, JamesBond. Ah, Bond, JamesBond. What's up, Bond, JamesBond? How you doing, Bond, JamesBond? How you doing, darling? Bond. JamesBond. Bond. JamesBond. Bond. JamesBond. Bond. JamesBond. Bond. JamesBond. If you haven't guessed it already, I'm doing an audition for JamesBond. Bond. Aha. JamesBond. Bond. 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 JamesBond. I like to do this. I like it when you hear, man. Bond. JamesBond. Show the accent. Bond. James Bond. Bond. James Bond. Jamaican accent. French accent. We're trying a French accent. I'm trying to think about the French accent. Quel appelle ça? C'est le ça? James Bond. Bond. James Bond. Don't know if it's a good French accent. Good attempt, probably. What? German accent. Bond. James Bond. Don't know if that's correct for a German accent. I'll have to hear it first, I think, then I'll get the accent. But if I'm just making it up from scratch, I don't think I'll be able to do it. But let's try Russian. I can't remember what Russian sounds like. I've got Sean Connery in my brain for some reason. And I'm thinking Russian accent. Trying to think Russian accent. And this is without me using it, practicing. I'm not practicing. I'm not practicing it. I'm not even listening to anything to do these accents. I'm just doing it off the cuff without listening to anything. The only thing I've listened so far is James Bond, is Sean Connery's James Bond introduction. So let me say Russian accent now. I'm trying to think how to think about it. Russian. What does Russian sound like? Well, that's just a guess. I think I can't remember it at the moment. Bond, James Bond. I think that's how I pronounce. I do Russian accent. What other accents are there? Indian accent. Bond, James Bond. My name is Bond, James Bond. Russian, Asian accent is quite easy. It's easiest accent to do, I find. What other accents are there? There's loads. Just can't think of any on the top of my head. I'm just doing the popular ones. London accent. I've got a London accent anyway, so let me try it anyway. Bond, James Bond. Just my accent. Scottish. Oh, Scottish man. Guys, loads of Scottish here. Bond, James Bond. A Scottish accent. Irish, Ireland. It's got top of the morning to ya. Bond, James Bond, top of the morning to ya. James Bond, Bond, James Bond, top of the morning to ya. Bond, James Bond, alright laddie. Bond, James Bond. What accents? Let me do the time and date, man. I forgot it last time when I deleted my other channel. So the time is 7:52 p.m. Friday the 15th of December 2023. What's the date and time just now of this video, which is titled Audition for James Bond, or I'm auditioning for James Bond. That's all I have to say. Other than that, that's all I have to say in this video. You know, I'm gonna cut it short because I'm just wasting time now. It's the time's up anyway by 9 minutes. It will be up, but they'll finish it off early. For some reason, my mobile finishes off early. So guys, take care, yeah. And night walkers, take care, yeah. With love, bye for now. It's your man here, Junior Night Walker Night. Shall we? To the ladies.